Good evening, good evening. Hope everyone is doing well on this beautiful Monday afternoon, this Monday evening. I hope that your Monday that you had a great weekend this weekend, and that today is a great day, start of a new week. Just gonna give some people some time to join. Just gonna give a few more people some time to join. Prophetess Cuffy, God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. Just gonna give a few more seconds and then we're gonna get started. Just trying to make sure I have everything in order. Alright, gonna get started. Alright, thank you for tuning in this evening. It's a great day. Spring is officially here, so now we can finally start to see some warmer weather. Excited about that. I'm not a very big fan of the winter or the cold, but just thank you all for tuning in to another session of our leadership conversations. I'm excited because we're continuing our conversation about vision and vision building. So just want to take the time to thank everybody. It's a great day. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be in the land of the living. So appreciative to be able to have this opportunity, have these conversations. It's been it's a highlight of my week to have these conversations. So please feel free to share, tag somebody who you know is a leader, someone who is a vision builder, someone who is trying to start something, trying to get their business off the ground, trying to get their nonprofit off the ground, trying to get their ministry off the ground. We're going to talk about some leadership topics. This is a time where we converse and we talk about various challenges and talk about some of the tools needed to be a leader. I often say that too many people have misconceptions or misunderstandings of what leadership is all about. And they think it's reserved only for an elite amount of people, or an elite class, but really it's for everybody. It's something that is open for everybody. It's something that gives everyone an opportunity to show off what they're capable of. We're not limited by what we do. We're not limited by our gifts. We're not limited by what people say. It's not about where we come from or where we've been or what we've done. But truly, it's really about being able to be effective and being able to lead others and being able to help others grow and help others to find their purpose and their accomplish their vision. So, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, it's truly a pleasure to be able to share these things. I've been studying leadership for such a long time and really felt the need to kind of have these conversations to talk about these topics so that you and the person next to you and your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your brother can recognize that leadership is not limited to just the wealthy or limited to just the entrepreneur, but there's a leader in each and every person, each and every one of us. We all have the capabilities of leading and being a leader. So want to continue our conversations about vision building tonight, but before I do that, I want to start something new that I've been thinking about. But today I want to take some time during these conversations to highlight leaders who are doing great work and who are effective. I want to highlight for this week. I want to highlight my beautiful wife, Asha Mcdermott, who She has a nonprofit organization called the Jesus Life Company, and over the weekend we were able to go out into Harlem, and we put together some kits, some bags for the homeless. We were able to get some like mini deodorants, toothbrushes, toothpaste, hand sanitizer, toe warmers, and little granola bars, and some resources to help them that are on the street. And it was a pleasure this weekend to really go out and have conversations with some individuals and be able to, Terry, how are you? But yeah, we were able to go out and give out some kits to some homeless people that were on the streets. You know, she really has a heart and a passion for doing things for people who are less fortunate. You know, we have this bad idea or this bad image of homeless people, and one of the things that we've come to realize is that homeless individuals, they're hit with all kinds of different circumstances, and truth be told, any one of us could be in their position. All it takes is one bad thing to happen for us to be in that position, and a lot of times we walk past them and we ignore them. But you know, my wife was able to start this initiative of, you know, fundraising, getting our team together to put the kits together. She organized a group. It was about 12 of us that went out. We were able to give out close to 60 bags, and it was really impactful and real powerful. And I want to highlight her tonight as a leader, because, you know, especially in this time of COVID, it's so easy to just think about yourself. It's so easy to just be concerned about your own thing, but to have a heart to be concerned about others, that's what leadership is all about. It's about coming out of your comfort and really making an effort to help others, to help people that really need it, to help people that are having difficult challenges, and to be able to have an impact. One thing I can say for sure is that what the greatest thing that you can ever have in this world is an impact in the life of somebody. And we take it for granted. You know, we take it for granted the power of impact on others. And, you know, especially when it comes to the homeless, they tend to be forgotten. And people will walk past them and see, and they become almost invisible, right? They become almost invisible, the invisible part of New York City. And so we were able to give out some bags, have conversations with a few people. We had a conversation with this gentleman who was really, you know, he has said that he had a passion for tutoring and for helping people. And, you know, we were talking to him about that and helping him to, you know, talk about finding his purpose. He asked for us to pray for him to help have his purpose be more clear to him. And there's so many people out there, you know, not just homeless, but there are people out there who don't know what their purpose is. They don't know why they're here on this earth, and they don't believe that they have the capability of having an impact. But just being able to touch one life and being able to show someone that they're important, it makes a world of a difference. And to show someone that they matter is a world of a difference. So I just wanted to shout her out. My leader shout out today is Asha Mcdermott, my wife, who helped organize such a successful run, and I know there are a lot of things that she has planned. So keep a lookout if you're interested. She's the founder of the Jesus Life Company. You can find her on find us on Instagram. You can find her on Facebook. You can go to thejesuslifecompany.com. And I really want to start taking out some time in the beginning of our conversations to highlight some leaders who are really making an effort. It doesn't take a lot of money. All it takes is a desire and a hope to make an impact. So, want to shout out her today. Also, want to also let you know that there are some things that I have working in the pipeline. I'm interested in. I'm getting ready to start. I'm getting ready to kick off. If you are a parent, keep on the lookout, because I'm getting ready to launch an initiative for some teens between the age of 16 and 19. I'll give you some more information later on the line, but I'm excited about that. And really just want to help people to really find the leadership with the leader within them, to help them to develop the leader within them, and really find their capabilities and their leadership spirit. We all have that. We all have the capability of being a leader and having an impact. And so it's all about being able to touch and to add value to others. And you don't need a lot of money to do it. You don't need a lot of ideas. All you just need is a willingness and a drive, and you can also be a leader. So, want to continue our conversation about vision building. One of the key aspects of a leader is building vision. We are all capable of building vision. We all have an idea of what we want to be. We all have dreams. We all have goals. And it requires work on our parts. It requires work on our parts to build. We have to build vision. We have to build our dreams. We have to make it a reality. And I saw an interview with Eddie Murphy the other day, and it was so impactful. He was saying how someone asked him the question, the interviewer asked him the question, how did he know he was going to be famous, or what was his drive for being famous, or if he knew that he was always going to be a famous comedian. And he said that, he always had a passion for comedy, but one thing that he always did is he spoke it into existence. He said from the age of, I think, about 11, 10 or 11, he was telling his family that I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be famous. And he said, now that he's almost 60, he's come to the realization that when he was like, he always hear those self-help gurus say you got to speak it into existence. You got to speak it to existence. And he said that even though he's always heard it, he's now come to the realization that those things are true, that you really do have to speak things into existence. He said you have to speak into existence. He said God is real and prayer is real. And he's realized when he looks back over his life that those things have been a major factor in helping him to become who he was. And so building a vision starts with first believing in yourself. Good evening, Pastor Troy. God bless you. Sister Susan, God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. But believing in yourself and having hope is a key important aspect of building out your dream, being a visionary leader, building out your hopes. And if you remember, I talked about that a little bit a few conversations ago about the importance of hope. So we're talking about building vision. What do you need to build vision? What are the necessary aspects of building vision? If we all remember, I talked about the 4 components of a vision. I talked about having the right perspective, right? Having the right perspective. Cody, God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Having perspective. Any dream or any goal, you have to have a picture. You have to have an idea. You have to have a goal. You have to have milestones. You have to have perspective. All of these things are important. And last week, I talked about wisdom. How it's important to have wisdom, and how wisdom helps us as growing leaders, helps us to develop all of the areas of a vision. You got to have wisdom, because wisdom teaches you timing. Wisdom teaches you when to make the right moves. Wisdom teaches you how to manage moving parts and manage personalities and manage a team. All of these things are important when you're trying to build a vision. So, why is vision important? Vision is important because it helps to establish something that the world needs. You have a dream, you have a goal. It's because there's a void, there's a space, there's an opening, there's an opportunity for change. There's something that needs to be changed in the world, and you have that desire, and it plays out as a dream. It plays out in your vision. And so, one of the important aspects of vision is that it has to be able to outlive you. That's something that I always say, is that when you have a vision, two things about a vision. It takes a lifetime to build, and it has to outlive you. Right? It takes a lifetime to build a vision. Because you establish, and you start, it's constantly growing as you're growing, it's constantly evolving as you're evolving. All of these things, so it's always moving and it's always growing. And any business that stops moving, that becomes stagnant, almost gets erased out of existence. Last week I talked about Blockbuster, how the fact that they didn't, because of the fact that Blockbuster did not move and change with the times, they allowed Netflix to take them over, or take over the whole video rental game and put them out of business. And so if you're not growing, if you're not evolving, if you're not learning, if you're not changing, then you're going to be put out of business. You're going to be removed, forgotten in history. And nobody wants to be forgotten. One thing that I've learned is that time is short. When you really look at it, time is short. And so the worst thing that you would want ever to happen in your life is that after you die and go, that your legacy is forgotten. And one day I'm going to talk about legacy, because I believe that legacy is so important and so key. It's so key because it leaves your mark on the world. It leaves your imprint on the world. But a vision takes a lifetime to build. And then when it does build and it matures and it grows, it has to outlive you. No person that you know who has been impactful or who has been talked about in the history books, nothing that they have done died with them. All those who built something and it died with them, they've been forgotten in history. But those who live on in history are those whose vision has outgrown them and has been able to outlive them. You think about Henry Ford, who created the car. Now we're still driving Ford cars. Now we have a whole lot of different models. We got the Explorer. We have the Escape. We have all of these Ford cars that are always coming out. The Fusion. Ford is always changing. Is always evolving. Is always growing. Steve Jobs, when he passed, right? Apple still lived on and is still one of the top companies in the world. And people always credit him for his innovation. Why? Because of the fact that he was able to build a vision that was able to outlive him. So vision, it's important whenever you start an idea. That's why it's important not to rush it. Let's keep it real. We are in a time and in a society where everything has to be instant. We're looking for instant gratification. We want to become famous overnight. We want to get 100,000 followers on Instagram overnight. We want to get sponsors for our YouTube page overnight. We want to get people to sponsor our podcast, right? We want to do all of these things and hoping that it will happen overnight. But when you really take the time to build it and really put the pieces into place. So don't be discouraged when you feel like something that you're trying to build or something that you're trying to start has a slow start. Or it feels like it's not moving as fast as you want it to move. Sometimes it has to take time. You gotta let it build. You gotta let the cement get firm. You gotta establish a strong foundation, because when you get to the top, you don't want to reach that level of success and then it all crumbles overnight. So it's important that not to be discouraged when your business idea or your business or your nonprofit or something that you're trying to start, your career, right? Your school, your education. Don't be discouraged because it doesn't it's not moving as fast as you want it to. Sometimes you have to let it time to let it marinate. Sometimes you gotta let it marinate, right? Some of the best foods that you cook, right? You talk to anybody who runs a barbecue, who barbecues and has a barbecue pit. They tell you that they let the meat sit in the seasoning and let it marinate for a couple of hours. They don't just cook it as soon as they get it. They let it marinate, and then the longer that it marinates, the juicier the food becomes. So sometimes you gotta let your vision marinate. You gotta let your ideas marinate. You gotta let your initiatives marinate. You can't just want to start one thing and then move to the next, move to the next, move to the next, move to the next. And it's so funny now that I'm thinking about it, because I had a conversation with my wife and we were talking about the shiny object syndrome and how we get excited about a new thing. And I was talking to my brother-in-law about it on Saturday. Exactly. The slow cooked brisket. Thank you, Henry. The slow cooked brisket is always better than the microwave chicken. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Absolutely. You gotta let it marinate. But I was having a conversation with my brother-in-law the other day about the shiny object syndrome and how many people they fall into that, where they get excited about the new thing and they get passionate about it and they work on it, and then as soon as it loses its shine, they forget about it and they put it down and they're looking for the next shiny thing. Sometimes you gotta be adamant, you gotta work at it, you gotta work at your vision and work at your ideas, and nobody really likes to hear that because it seems like you're running out of time. You never have enough time. But if we would just take the time to really just focus and take the time to really build on it, that discipline to work on it, you will find that it will be more impactful. And that's what that's what we're aiming for, is impact. To be able to add value, to be able to add value to those that are around us, to add value to the world, to add value to our children, right? To start something that our children can carry on and adding value. So when you're building a vision, you have to keep those things in mind. Let's not rush it. Let's take the time to make sure that we build it perfectly and we build it so that it's able to last and outlive us. So one of the things that I want to talk about tonight, that was an extra, that was a freebie. But one of the things I want to talk about is some of the vision problems that leaders may have. Now, when you think about vision and studying vision and thinking about vision, of course you have to think about the eye, right? You have to think about the eye, and it's so funny that the eye is also made up of 4 components. Because I share that vision has to have 4 components, right? It has to have a picture, it has to have a purpose, it has to have principles, right? It has to have a set of guidelines that you're going to follow, a set of values that you're going to follow, and it has to have milestones. So it has to have goals, many goals that you're trying to accomplish to get to the overall goal. So the eye is also made up of 4 components: the cornea, the pupil, the iris, and the lens. All these 4 things are made up of the eye. So when you think about vision and you think about the eye, you have to also think about some of the challenges that come with that. I'm a person who wears glasses, so I know all about vision problems. I wear contacts. I've been wearing contacts for the majority of my life. I started wearing glasses when I was about 10. So I know a little bit about vision problems and eyesight problems. And when you think about it, sometimes there's so many parallels between eyesight and vision. Right? Because vision is what you see, what you're picturing, what you're working towards. You have to have a picture of where you're trying to go. So, what are some vision challenges or some vision issues that some people may have? Let's talk about nearsightedness. We all know that for those, and I'm someone who's nearsighted. So someone who's nearsighted, they can see things very up close in their face, but when they get to a certain distance back, things become blurry, right? And it becomes a little bit harder to focus on what's too far from you. So you'll sit at the eye doctor place, and they'll tell you to cover your eye and read the letters on the frame. So you have those who are nearsighted, or it's called myopia, right? So myopia is nearsightedness. That's where the eye can't focus on faraway objects. Faraway objects appear blurry, while closer objects are easy to focus on. So what is nearsightedness? There are some leaders who have nearsighted issues. They only are able to see short-term goals. When you ask them about where they're trying to go, their overall vision, the overall objective, it's hard to focus on that. It's hard to envision it. It's hard to see it. And so you have some leaders. Most of those people are managers. You know, we always hear all the time people talk about the difference between a leader and a manager. Someone who's in the role or position of a manager, they're nearsighted. It's about the next project. It's about the next goal. It's about the next initiative. And that's all they're focused on. They're not the ones who are focusing on the overall vision. If you ask them what the overall objective is, they can't explain it to you. So they're the ones that go after only the low-hanging fruit, right? That's all they're working towards, is going after the next thing. They go after the low-hanging fruit and they settle for what they have. Those are the leaders who settle for what they have. They work towards the next project, and however it turns out is how it turns out. They're moving on to the next thing. But it's dangerous when you're a nearsighted leader, because you will take every opportunity that comes to you. And you'll take an opportunity that takes you this way, and you'll take an opportunity that goes that way, and then another one that goes up, and another one that goes down, and you grab opportunities and you take on projects that don't have an overall goal. They don't have an overall vision. They don't have an overall objective. And you see those people who are inspiring right at the start, who get very excited when they're starting something brand new. But then a month down the line, 2 months down the line, 6 months down the line, they're the ones that are that you ask them about how it's going, and it's like, I stopped that, I moved to the next thing. And we all know those kind of people. They get super excited, they get super hyped, and they get super motivated. Oh man, I'm gonna learn karate. I remember when I watched the movie, what was it? The movie Ip Man, and I was like, I am going to learn Wing Chun, and I was excited about it. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna learn how to do martial arts, all that stuff. And a week later, I was like, not so much, right? So it's those people who get excited about doing the next thing, but they don't stick with it, because when you ask them to go the distance, they can't, because they're unable to see the overall goal. They're not able to see the overall objective. It's just little by little. So what are some of the common symptoms of nearsightedness? There's squinting, there's eye straining, and there's headaches. You know, when you're far away and you're trying to read letters or you're trying to read a sign, for those of you that are nearsighted, you squint because you're trying to make out the letters, but you can't fully make it out because it's still blurry, right? And so your eyes get strained, you get a headache, you get frustrated. That's how nearsighted leaders are, and we have to be mindful to that we don't fall into that trap or fall into that position, because the future isn't clear. You feel stressed. You feel strained. You feel uncomfortable. You don't want to work towards the future. So every plan that you make is on the here and now. Everything that you're trying to do, every strategy, everything is about today and today only. You're not thinking about tomorrow. So we have to be mindful and be careful not to fall into the nearsighted leadership where we are only focused. One of the best things that you can do as a leader is set an overall vision, an overall goal. This is where we're trying to go. This is where what we're trying to accomplish. And when you get to that point, or when you are able to cast that vision, then you use the small goals to get you to that point. You use the milestones. You use the checkpoints. All right, check. I got this done. I got this done. I got this done. I got this done. And then you work in the series of milestones to get to the overall vision, to overall goal. So we have to be mindful and be careful not to fall into that vision problem of nearsightedness, right? So you have that. You have those leaders, and another thing is that they have no plan for tomorrow. They allow anxiety to overtake them after short periods of times. So that's for the nearsighted leader. Then you have the farsighted, right? The opposite. The farsightedness, which is called hyperpia. hyperbia. I hope I'm saying that right. Did you get what I'm saying? Farsightedness. That's when objects appear blur. Close objects appear blurry, but distant objects are clear. So people who are farsighted, right? Naturally, they can see very far away, but very close things they can't see. It's blurry, right? So you'll see someone who has to wear glasses when they're reading a book, or they have to wear glasses when they're looking at a screen, because the words and the letters are blurry. These people, when you think of it in terms of leadership, far-sighted leaders are those leaders who are only able to see the long term. They're the complete opposite of the nearsighted, where all they see is the long-term goal. They see the final goal. And rather that's where their focus is on. Their focus is on the overall scope of things, the overall completion of the vision. But the challenge is that they don't see the short-term goals. They don't establish short-term goals. It's prime example. Those leaders are the leaders that are go big or go home. Good afternoon, good evening, Sister Angela. Far-sighted leaders are the leaders that are all in, all or nothing. We're gonna do all or nothing. We're gonna put all our chips to the center, and we're gonna go for broke. Those are the leaders who fail because they fail to establish short-term goals. It becomes harder to accomplish the overall vision. Those are the people that say YOLO. You know, I don't know if people still say that, but that say you only live once, and so they go for the extreme. They go for the extreme moves, the extreme tactics, the extreme strategies. And then when it doesn't work out, they give up. So it's the leaders who give everything for today but have nothing set for tomorrow. There's no strategy. There's no short-term goals. There's no milestones. There's no backup plan. And not saying that you need a backup plan, but you have to be strategic in all the moves that you make. As a leader, you have to be strategic, right? Even those who are in extreme sports, right? They live on the edge. Those who are extreme goals, they work, they train, right? They train to get to a certain point so they can accomplish that goal that they're trying to accomplish. You don't see anybody who says that they want to swim across the English Channel, or anybody who says that they want to climb Mount Everest. You've never seen those individuals. You've never seen someone who say, oh, tomorrow I'm climbing Mount Everest, and they climb to the top of it and come back down. It's a process. So far-sighted leaders forget about the process. They just want to just be there. They just want to be a millionaire. They just want to be a billionaire. They just want to have that successful company. But there's no plan. There's no plan on how you're going to accomplish it. There's no strategy. There's no, okay, let's do this, let's do that. No strategic moves. You just want to put all of it on the line, and if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. Those are the people that you have to be careful. Those are the things that you have to be careful of. Because especially if you're leading people who are depending and trusting on your leadership, if you take those risks and those strategies and those maneuvers, what you do affects them. And so we can't be far-sighted leaders. We have to have that perfect 20/20 vision where you can see far and you can see up close, you can see near. You have to be able to appreciate the process and appreciate the baby steps. You got to appreciate. There's nothing that comes on an instant. There's nothing that you can never become great overnight. And those are the people who are easily discouraged, right? When it comes to the process. One of the things that I've learned, especially when it comes to doing things like exercise, right? we all have this idea that you want to get abs, and one thing that's terrible is that you see all these advertisements and all of these Facebook ads and Instagram ads that say, oh, lose 30 pounds in 7 days, or get shredded in 21 days. And when you really look into the science of it, it's not possible. It's not possible to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks. It's not possible unless you're severely sick. So there's a process to what you're doing. There's a process to what you're doing. And if you want to be successful, you have to appreciate the process. And you have to put in the effort in the process. You ever talk to someone who has an idea and they think it's the next big thing, but then you ask them what is their plan, are they going to execute? They can't tell you. They just say it's just going to happen. That's the kind of things that we have to be careful of. We have to be careful that we don't allow that to happen. So, what are the symptoms of farsightedness? It's big dreams and minimal plans. You have a big dream and a big goal that you want to accomplish, but no strategy. That's a strategy for disaster. You don't want to put yourself in that position where you have a big dream and you have a small goal. I mean, you have no plans. They're also the ones who know where they want to go, but they don't know the right timing. Right? So you back to my weight loss analogy. If you want to lose weight, right? If you want to lose weight, they tell you off the bat. Any personal trainer will tell you off the bat that in order to truly lose weight in a healthy way, you only can lose about 1, maybe 2 pounds. 1, maybe 2 pounds a week on a to lose weight in a healthy manner. So recognizing that there has to be a plan. The farsightedly, they have trouble establishing a foundation. They're huge risk takers. They're the ones who try to get far too fast. They're the ones who join those get-rich-quick schemes. We all see them. We all see the get-rich-quick schemes that tell you that if you sign on today, that you could be a millionaire by the end of the year. We all know those MLM projects that tell you, oh, if you can recruit 5 people and sign them on, you get $500 for each person that signs on, and every $500 that they make, you make $500, and all these rich quick schemes that people try to pull off. You see people that are interested in investing, right? And they're looking for that stock. Moment of transparency. I remember when the whole GameStop thing hit, right? When the whole GameStop stock situation happened earlier this year, and I was like, man, why couldn't I have jumped on it when it first happened? Because there was a gentleman that I saw who invested, I think it was something like $500 or $200 when GameStop was worth $20 a stock or $19 a stock. And in a week and a half, because of how quickly it jumped, he made $44,000 off of it, right? There are many times we want to get into that position where we want to hit the lotto. We want to invest in that stock that's going to grow overnight and make you a millionaire overnight. But those things don't ever last. Those get-rich-quick schemes always tend to take more time and more effort and more energy than actual work. Right? Think of someone who plays the lottery. Right? Someone who plays the lotto, they're buying $20 worth of tickets hoping to win $150 million. And then what ends up happening? They end up spending all this money throughout their lifetime buying lottery tickets and never winning. I know some people who bought lottery tickets every day for almost 10, 20 years. And you think about it, if you're spending $2 every day, even for a year, you're spending $200 for a year, that's almost $800 just in that year that you spent on lottery tickets, hoping that you're going to win $100 million. And oftentimes that doesn't happen. It's a very minimal amount of people who actually win the lottery. That's why the pot is always growing. 450 million, 650 million. And you see those people, right? Those are the people that are farsighted. They're like, oh, I had a dream and this person said these numbers to me, and so I played it. It's not realistic. It's not realistic because you don't actually work towards accomplishing something. You're putting all your hopes and all your eggs in one basket, hoping that it's going to make you rich. That's not how it works. And even if that's the case, right? Even if you say you do win the lottery, say you do get that $450 million, right? Because of the fact that you didn't work for it, because of the fact that you didn't build yourself, right? A lot of lottery winners end up just squandering the money that they win. You never seen anyone really successful because they won the lottery. A lot of people that you see that have won the lottery, they just kind of fade, right? You never hear about them again after because they just spend their money. And so that's why it's important to invest in yourself. That's why it's important to take the time to build yourself, time to read, time to study, time to plan. Because when you have those things, nothing can happen when you finally make it into that place of being successful, then you know how to maintain it. You know how to hold on to it. You know how to grow from it and maneuver from it and get even more wealthier. But all these people, I hate to pick on them, but rappers. Some rappers, they have that one hit and they get $100,000 from their label, and then you see they're squandering it on jewelry and squandering it on cars and squandering it on houses and all of these reckless things, and then you find out that they're broke after the fact. They're not making money off of record sales. Those are the things that I'm talking about that we have to be careful of. Because I know we want to be successful, we want to be able to reach our vision, but reach our goal, but you don't want to be in that position. Right? You don't want to be in that position where you're farsighted and you go big and then 99 times out of 10 you end up going home, right? Go big or go home, but then you end up going home most of the times. So we have to be able to build, right? We have to be able to see our plan, see our ideas, plan to action, and really take the time to kind of build towards it, right? What is another common vision problem? Color blindness, right? Color blindness is when your brain is not, or your eye is not able to, or your brain is not able to process certain colors, right? You see things only a certain way. Color blindness is the same is when you compare it to leadership. Someone who's colorblind is someone who misreads and misinterprets situations. They misinterpret opportunities. They misinterpret challenges. And oftentimes they make the wrong decision because of the fact that they're not truly able to identify what things really are. They want to accomplish a goal. They want to accomplish their vision. They want to build their vision. But they bring the wrong people onto their team. They partner with the wrong organizations. They build on. They misinterpret and their perception is off. Because one thing with color blindness is that I believe that it changes like how you see reds and blues. I think that's how it goes. Where You misinterpret red for green. Not red and blues, but red and greens, where you see green as red, and you're not at the end of the day, you're not truly able to really perceive a problem or really perceive what's really taking place. And so we have to be careful not to allow ourselves to be in a sense colorblind. What are the good opportunities, right? What are the opportunities that we're able to help us to really accomplish where we're trying to go? Another vision problem, cataracts, right? We all know about cataracts, where you kind of have hazy vision, and when there's certain intensity of brightness, of bright lights, right? You have a hard time seeing, right? Because the lights are too bright for you. It is seen as hazy vision that might be worse in bright lights. You may have double or triple vision. You have painful information. You have pressure within the eyes. All of these things are symptoms of cataract. What is a leader that has cataracts? Someone who when they finally, or when they get an opportunity to stand in the spotlight, they become too blinded by it. They're not able to clearly see. Those are the people who you could say get famous too quickly, and they don't know how to handle the bright lights. They don't know how to handle the big stage. They don't know how to really keep the vision going once they reach the level of success. So these are a few of the things that we have to be mindful of. We have to be watchful of as leaders, because you don't want to fall into any of these categories and then not be able to really truly accomplish the vision that you're trying to accomplish. We're all working towards a goal. We're all working towards building something. We're all working towards trying to be successful. We're trying to establish a legacy, right? Like I said before, we're trying to be able to set ourselves up in a position of adding value and being successful. So we want to be careful not to fall into those categories of being too nearsighted or being too farsighted or having that blurry vision, right? What's another thing? Before the last thing I want to touch on, blind spots. We as leaders, as much as we don't like to hear it, we have blind spots. Now, what is a blind spot? A blind spot is when excuse me. A blind spot is when you ever drive a car and they tell you there are blind spots, there are spots in your vision that you're not able to see, where you're completely blind to, right? There are certain areas that you just have no knowledge of, and leaders don't like to hear that they have blind spots, right? They don't like to hear that they don't know, not that they don't know everything know everything, but there are certain things about yourself that you don't recognize. And a lot of us, we fall into that place where people recognize certain characteristics about us that we don't recognize about ourselves, right? That's a blind spot. When someone says, "Oh, you tend to be a little bit rude when you respond to emails," right? You may not feel that you're the type of person that's rude when you respond to emails, but you find that 5, 6, 7, everybody that you interact with tells you that you're rude when you send emails, and we take offense to it. That's a leader who doesn't like to acknowledge their blind spots, are the leaders who get offended when people tell them about certain traits or certain things that they do that is wrong. Certain behavior patterns that they have, or certain things that they may do that is off-putting to others. We don't want to hear that we do those things. We want to think that we're leaders who are inspiring, we're motivating. There's nothing wrong with us. We're the type of people, the ideal person that people want to follow. But truth be told is that we all have blind spots. We all have areas in our character that we don't recognize need to be changed or need to be fixed. And so you have people that know these things about us, but you don't recognize it or you don't want to accept it. So we have to be careful not to be that kind of leader that doesn't recognize or acknowledge blind spots. One of the things that a lot of people lack is self-awareness. Being able to recognize that there's certain things about what you do and how you behave and how you respond that doesn't match your ideology. Thing about self-awareness is that your behavior matches your beliefs. And so sometimes there's no person in the world who 100% their behavior matches their belief system. Everybody has that one thing or those two things that they do that they don't recognize that they do. And so as a leader, we have to be open to feedback. We have to be open to criticism. We have to be able to surround ourselves around people that we trust that can let us know, hey, all right, you got to fix this, or you said this or you did this that didn't really work, or it wasn't effective, or it was off-putting. We have to be open to those things so that we can improve how we behave and how we carry ourselves. There's nobody who's perfect. And one thing that I always say is that we need to strive for excellence, not perfection. We have to be working towards trying to be excellent in what we're doing. We can't put pressure on ourselves to be perfect. But you have to set room and be able to allow yourself to grow. And so when you don't recognize your blind spots, you don't allow yourself to grow, the opportunity to grow. And then you also set people off in the wrong way. So be open to criticism, be open to feedback. Be open to allow people to tell you there's certain things that you do that needs work. And so blind spots are any areas that you don't know, but people around you notice. So be open to understanding that you have blind spots. And a lot of people know that they have blind spots and they overly beat themselves up. They're overly critical. I'm someone who is my harshest critic. I am a person who will constantly beat myself about certain things that I feel needs to change. No, that's not how we should approach it. We need to approach things with a growth mindset that we can be able to grow and be able to mature and be able to evolve. So these are some of the challenges that come with vision. Those are some of the vision problems that we tend to face. So we have to be able to recognize those things and do the necessary things that we need to build to change those characteristics. If you're someone who's always nearsighted, surround yourself with someone who is able to help you recognize the overall goal, the overall vision, to help you see the distance, right? One thing with anybody who has eye problems or vision problems, they find a doctor or they find someone to help them correct that vision problem, right? And on the natural sense, right? If you have problems with your eyes, you go see an ophthalmologist, and they prescribe glasses or they prescribe contact lenses, something to help you correct what needs to be fixed, right? Nowadays we have LASIK, where you go and you get surgery, right? What I'm saying is that as vision builders, we have to be open to recognizing that there are problems and there are challenges that come with building a vision, and we have to actively work towards fixing it. We have to actively work towards growing in the areas that we're weak. We have to actively be working on correcting our vision problems. And so when we're building vision, recognize, and we have to work towards building it, and recognize that it's a part of the process. It's a part of the journey. No one gets it right on the first try. No one gets it right all of the time. But if we take the little steps towards fixing those things, If you're that type of person that's only thinking short-term goals, right? Try and sit and think about a long-term goal. Write it out. Write the long-term goal and build backwards. If you're someone who is always a go big or go home, right? Only see the overall goal. Sit, write it out. Start to plan step by step. Get around people who are going to help you to plan and to properly put systems into place to help you to grow. A lot of us, we don't grow because we don't, one, take the time to grow, and two, put systems in place that are going to help us to constantly be growing. Whether it's reading new material or having what is it called? Having meetings or having discussions with people that are also leaders. What is it called? It's called it escapes my brain, but there are things that you can do. Surround yourself around people that mastermind. That's what it is. Mastermind sessions, right? Where you gather around, or you surround yourself with other people, and you brainstorm and you plan and you calculate and you think of different ideas, right? You partner up with people that you know that also has a vision. They may not have the same vision as you, but they may be working towards a goal just as you are. They may be building a business just as you are. One of the things that I have the benefit of is that I have people around me who are also building their vision, who are also building their goals. And so it's easy to reach out to them and say, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? Right? My wife and I, we constantly are having brainstorming sessions where we're saying, all right, this is what I want to do, or this is what she wants to do, and we bounce ideas off of each other, and we try to plan, and we try to think of different ideas and different ways to execute the plans. So all of these things are necessary and are helpful in helping us to correct our vision problems. And so that's my homework for you this week. Is take a second of self-reflection. What challenges, what vision problems do you have, right? Are you a far-sighted leader? Are you a near-sighted leader? Are you a leader who has cataracts, right? Are you someone who has blindness? What level are you someone who has blind spots? Take a moment and really self-reflect and really begin to think about what the issues are, what challenges you may have, and what things you need to fix. And then make the necessary steps. Write out a plan on how can I execute, how can I fix this behavior, how can I fix this pattern, how can I fix this thought process. And then you'll find that as you actively do those things, as you actively take the time out to work towards it, you'll find that it makes it a whole lot easier, and it makes the process a lot less challenging. So do that this week. Work on reflecting and finding what are the areas that you need to fix, and work towards those things. Talk to somebody, someone that you can trust, that someone in your inner circle that you can spitball all ideas off of. You know, have that hard conversation. Ask someone that you can trust. What are some of the blind spots that you may have? It may not be. It's not an easy conversation to always have, but it's a necessary one. And we always want to be able to put ourselves in a position where we're going to consistently grow and consistently develop so that we can progress and move forward. Because at the end of the day, we want to be able to establish a legacy. We want to be able to make an impact. We want to be able to add value to others. We want to be able to be effective in helping create a better world. So that's my little encouragement for you today. I hope that this conversation was helpful. I hope you were able to gather something from it. Everyone usually takes their little piece. My wife always says, eat the meat and throw away the bones, right? I hope there was something that you were able to grab, something that sparked an idea, that sparked a feeling, that sparked some motivation in yourself to develop yourself as a better leader. The point of these conversations is to help talk about different leadership topics so that we can be able to grow as leaders. One of the deficits that the world has today is the lack of leadership. And so we want to be able to grow ourselves as leaders and to help others to grow as leaders. So I hope you were able to gather something from it. I look forward to our conversation next week. Take this with you, think about it, work on it, and let's talk some more next week. I want to continue talking about vision building. At some point, I want to start bringing on people to have a conversation with me on the live to talk about what steps they took to building their vision, what strategies they used, what were some of the challenges that they took, that they faced, and how did they overcome those challenges. So I have a lot of things in the ideas in the pipeline that I'm working on, and so thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part. I really appreciate you taking the time out on your Monday, and I hope that you have a blessed week. I hope that you have a productive week, and I hope that you have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you all. God bless you, and have a good night.